What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. Sorry for those of y'all who had to hear that. But I think I got a pretty good video here for y'all today. I know it's been a few days, and I'm sorry. But hey, when life gets busy, you got to go. You got to do what you got to do. So, in this video, we're going to be talking about a few pros and cons of green dot optics. Now, what I will state is at the moment, I have no experience with any green dot. Actually, no. I have minimal experience with green dot optics. I don't want to sit here and say I have none because I have shot a couple handguns. I can English. Couple handguns with green dot optics. So I actually forgot about that too. And not even somebody I knew. I was just at the range and I saw the dude had dots on his handguns and I was asking him questions. He was like, "Here, go ahead, have fun, shoot." I was like, "Oh, okay." But regardless, we're going to be talking about a few pros and cons and really whether or not, it might be worth it for you, I guess. So we're going to start with the pros and then we're going to get right into the cons as well. And I'm not going to lie, I will tell you guys right now, one of the pros, very subjective, very, very subjective, but you guys will obviously be able to tell which one it is. So, for starters, as a pro, it is easier to see the green dot optics in the daytime. A majority of people do not realize that when you do get an optic, whether it's a handgun optic, whether it's an optic for your rifle, whatever, that during the daytime, looking through it, the sun will affect your vision. It will affect your ability to see the reticle of the optic. So, what do green dots do? They essentially make it a lot easier for you in that case. Daytime use, green dots are superior to red dots without a doubt. There are some situations where, okay, maybe in specific terrains, yeah, maybe like, of course, if you're completely in some bright green forest, then yeah, maybe you don't need a green dot optic. However, I can also say that if you're really in a bright green forest, I'm also pretty damn sure you can see what's in front of you if you got something coming at you. I don't know. Maybe I'm just adding my 2 cents into it. However, my point is that it is much easier to see a green dot optic during the day than it is a red dot optic. However, you're going to see a con as well that comes to this that you're going to hear about later. I know people are already typing it up. Don't worry. I already know. Moving on, though, to the second pro. The second pro is that green, generally speaking, pops out more to the human eye. Now, there are several reasons why that is. However, to really save us all the time and all the boredom, in the end, green just pops out to the human eye better than red does. Now, that is something that a lot of people might argue, oh, well, I don't know. For me, it's a little different. However, a perfect example of that is the fact that green dot optics are often used by people who have trouble seeing specific colors, whether they're a specific kind of color. Color blind. There we are. I don't know if you guys can tell. It's one of those nights, but we're gonna push through it because I got a lot of videos to drop for y'all. So overall, green dots they just pop out more to the human eye. The color green is much quicker that we pick up on than the color red. That's just how it is. Is that going to be a huge pro? I mean, yeah, I could make a pretty good argument for it. Some people might argue that since it pops out more, it's going to be easier for you to get your sight on target. Who knows? You know what I mean? But what I can simply say is that the third pro, all in all, and this I say with my chest out wholeheartedly, green dot optics look cooler. I don't know why. Looking through the window and seeing that green dot instead of a red dot, it just looks cooler to me. Very subjective, very much so opinion based. However, still a pro. Now, moving on to the cons. I think the cons are more important here because you can talk about pros all day and night, but really if there are any cons that just knock away those pros, it's over. You know what I mean? Now, one of the most, I guess, obvious cons that you will find is that green dot optics tend to cost more than red dot optics per se. How much more really depends on what model of optic you're getting, what brand. It really just depends. Now, for example, I can't say it. I got something coming in. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. Back to what I was saying though. Green dot optics costs more money. Now, why is that? Well, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. Realistically speaking, the items are just the same, just the color's a bit different. That's really it. They unfortunately do cost a little bit more, sometimes $30 more, sometimes $50 more. It really just depends on what company that's making the optic and what model of optic you're getting. Moving on, green dot optics can use up more battery lifetime, or lifespan, I guess you could say. Now, the thing is with this is, while yes, this can be the case because green being a brighter color than red does end up using up more battery life than just your traditional red dot does. What I will say I'm not trying to, counteract it or anything, but what I will say is that you can also turn down your green dot because green is still more visible to see in daytime. So, I mean, if you're worried about it running out of battery because, it's just too bright, it's using up too much battery, just lower it a bit. It's much easier to see in the daytime, just like as I mentioned before, as the first pro. Now, is that a big con? It really depends on what you're using that particular handgun for. Are you using it for competition use? Are you using it because maybe you're a cop, whatever? Maybe you're using it for security use, whether you're using it for personal defense, whether that be home defense, concealed carry, so on and so forth. That's a whole nother situation. That's where you have to take into, account all these different factors. But green dot, yes, once again, because it is brighter than a red dot is, it will take up a bit more battery life than a traditional red dot would. There's no arguing that. Moving on to the third and final con. Green dot optics, they're just not the best for home defense. Now, I'm going to talk about why that is. Some of y'all might be wondering why I kept looking down when stating the reasons. I had to write them down. When I do videos like this where I have several pros and cons, I just feel it's easier for me to write it down. But regardless of that, what I can say simply, I can't believe I finally explained that to y'all. I'm sure there were some people who've been wondering this whole time, but yeah, no. All right, so the reason why green dot optics are not the best for home defense is simply due to the fact that, and this point I will say I'm kind of iffy on myself. However, from what I have seen, all the information I have gathered on green dot optics, this is what I can tell you. That green overall just tends to not really stand out as much during the nighttime. Now, of course, some people might argue, well, why would that be? It's very bright, just as you said. Why would we not be able to make it, why would it not stand out? I guess maybe a better way of saying it is not that the dot itself doesn't stand out. It's just that it's a bit too bright. You might not be able to, to aim properly. And that is, that's a fair concern. What I would say, once again, is just lower, just turn down your dot a bit. That's all I'm saying. Lower the brightness on your dot. All in all, I truthfully think green dot or red dot optic, that's not the biggest concern in the world when it comes to your firearm. Making sure your firearm is reliable is probably a much bigger deal. Making sure that your training is probably a much bigger deal. But what I can say is that, are green dot optics bad? No, not really. They have their pros and cons, just like red dot optics do. Go ahead and make that choice for yourself, because in the end, it's only you who knows what situation you're going to be in. Some of y'all work overnight shifts. Some of y'all work day shifts. What would you need? That's all up to you. With that being said, I think that about wraps it up for this video. Some of y'all might be wondering, if I were to choose out of the two, what I would pick. Me personally, I would go with a green dot over a red dot, but that's just my opinion. With that being said, y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all and. Whether or not you agree with me about actually, I don't know why I mean, I guess some of them you could try to argue against. That's fair. Whether or not you agree or disagree with me about these 3 pros and 3 cons I've stated about Green Dot Optics, go ahead and comment down below why or why not, and then make sure to check out all my other videos. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.